Welcome back to the Real News Network. I'm Paul Jay. We're in Jerusalem with Tom Segev. He's the author of 1967, Israel, the War and the Year That Transformed the Middle East. Let's just pick up again in 1967, because the main thesis of your book, if I understand it, or one of the main ideas, is that after the destruction of the Egyptian Air Force, everything from that point on is a choice, not a war of necessity.
Yes.
Now, you say it's irrational, but is there not also a significant section of decision makers in the Israeli elite who believe in a greater Israel, and that it's not just irrational, the idea that you would take areas that would never allow peace, that create the conditions for an expansion of Israel, was that not part of at least some of their thinking?
Expansion not in the sense of having more territory or even having more security. That was not the major reason. The major reason was that it is part of the biblical land of Israel. And in that sense, it is Israel. It's about holy places. It's about the country that gives us our identity as a people and has been doing that for 2,000 years. So it is irrational also in the sense that it is holding on to the territories for 40 years now, and apparently for who knows for how long, is in fact very, very harmful to the Zionist, destructive to the Zionist dream. So the existential dream of Israel is a Jewish and democratic state which can only exist in part of the country. And so holding on to populated territories beyond 1967 borders really leads to a situation where the Zionist dream, the original Zionist dream, the existential ideology of this country will no longer be valid. In that sense, it is irrational.
Now, I had a conversation with Yuri Dan a few years ago, and for people that don't know, Yuri Dan was a newspaper columnist and a very close associate of Ariel Sharon.
Right.
According to the New York Times, one of the only 3 people that Sharon listened to. I don't know if that's true or not. And he told me in a phone call that if it takes 1,000 Jewish lives for 1,000 years, someday this will all be ours, given to us by God, which included the West Bank. And in a sense, isn't the extension of the settlements into the West Bank now, which is now the Jewification they're talking about of Jerusalem,
right,
the settlements in the West Bank, which is increasing territory now of Israel, increasing the population, and also in the context of what former Prime Minister Omar said when he left office about the real danger is the demographics. Mm-hmm. You know, someday either the Palestinians are going to demand a vote within the state of Israel, or there better be some kind of second state. But there is a third option, which is I know you don't want to use the word, but there's a kind of ethnic cleansing. That's some of the hard right in Israel talk about. If you keep moving these settlements into the West Bank, you keep having more and more expansion of Jews and more immigration there. You change the demographic scenario. So
there are, of course, other ways to solve the conflict, and even the conflict in Jerusalem. In fact, former Prime Minister Barak was once caught by a paparazzi reading a book that contains about 200 solutions to the problem of Jerusalem. If a problem has 200 solutions, then it's obviously very difficult to solve, and it is very difficult to solve. I think that 8 out of 10 Israelis will tell you that they don't believe in the possibility of peace anymore. 10 out of 10 will tell you, yes, we do want peace. But the tragic thing about the present situation of the conflict is that most Israelis don't believe that it's possible to solve anymore, and I don't believe that it's possible to solve. The best thing we can do is to manage it in a more rational way, make life more livable, especially for the Palestinians. These would be practical arrangements, but the basic problems are so deep, even the most moderate Palestinians and the most moderate Israelis can't agree on them. I don't really see that we have a solution to the problem of the refugees, we don't have a solution to the problem of the settlements, and we don't have a solution to the problem of Jerusalem. We don't have a solution because there are not enough people, either on the Israeli side or on the Palestinian side, who would agree to compromise. And the reason why we can't compromise is because this is not about land, this is not about water, this is not about security, this is not even about human rights, this is about identity. You have 2 nations here who define their identity by the land, all of it. And so giving up part of it would be giving up part of their identity. Obviously, we are not mature enough yet to do that. And so we are really fighting about identity. And this is why it is so difficult to solve at this point in time.
The identity of Israel is the identity of a Jewish state.
Mm-hmm.
But Israel also wants to think of itself as a modern democracy.
Right.
Almost like an extension of a Europe or North America. It's part of the West.
Right.
But this is a complete disconnect to have a state based on a religion or ethnicity and be considered a modern democracy.
No, this is not the major problem. I think the major problem is that we consider ourselves as a democracy, and at the same time we are systematically violating the human rights of another people. The occupation is the major problem, I think.
But they're very connected with each other, because if there wasn't the need for a Jewish state, you could have one state which would include everyone.
Right. Israel wants to define itself as a Jewish and democratic state, which is a problematic definition, but we can't be one state because most Palestinians don't want to be one state with us, and most Israelis don't want to be in one state with the Palestinians. So, you know, it's very easy to come from outside and say, well, why don't you just live together? We don't live together because we don't want to. And that's very tragic. But most peoples in the world, you mentioned Europe, the European Union is a very administrative thing. It's not really about identity. There is no such thing as a European identity. A farmer in Sicily doesn't speak the same language as a farmer in Ireland, right? So that's unfortunately the way people still think in terms of national identities. And so for us, it is almost impossible to solve at this time. And therefore, I also think that voices coming from America about negotiating and peace talks and road maps and all these things, these are really diplomatic fictions. They have almost nothing to do with the real problem. The real problem can be managed in a much better way than we do now. And I think it is in our interest to manage it in a much better way.
What does that mean, manage?
It means lifting restrictions on the Palestinians, being more open to the Palestinians. For example, lifting the siege on Gaza. But mentioning Gaza, one of the problems is, of course, that we don't deal with Palestinians. We deal with two Palestinian entities, one in Gaza, one in the West Bank. So how do we reach to a peace?
Okay, well, let's talk about that. Please join us for the rest of our interview with Tom Segev on the Real News Network.